What if I told you Starbucks isn't actually in the coffee business? That sounds ridiculous. After all, they sell coffee. Millions of cups a day in nearly every city on Earth. But spend enough time studying how this company actually makes its money, and you find something strange. The coffee is almost beside the point. There is a second business running quietly underneath the first one, a business built not on beans, but on behavior. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Stay until the end, because the final psychological trick Starbucks uses on its customers is one that almost everyone falls for, including, probably, you. Here is what everyone believes. Starbucks built an empire because it makes good coffee. It's a clean story, simple, comfortable. It's also incomplete. Because coffee, as a raw commodity, is one of the cheapest things you can buy on Earth. A pound of green coffee beans costs a company like Starbucks a few dollars. That same pound becomes dozens of cups, each sold for $4, $5, $6. That markup isn't a coffee markup. It's something else entirely. Coffee is the excuse people give themselves to walk through the door. It's the story customers tell themselves about why they're there. But the real product, the one that actually built a $100 billion company, is invisible. You can't see it on the menu board. So what is it? To understand that, you have to go back to a rainy trip to Milan, decades before Starbucks became Starbucks. In the 1980s, a young marketing director named Howard Schultz walked into an Italian espresso bar and noticed something that had nothing to do with coffee. He noticed belonging. Strangers lingering, regulars greeted by name. A neighborhood living room disguised as a cafe. Schultz brought that idea home and gave it a name that would quietly become one of the most important concepts in modern retail: the third place. Not home, not work, somewhere in between, a place designed to feel like it belongs to you, even though it belongs to no one. Think about what that actually means for a business. A restaurant wants you to eat and leave. A fast food chain wants you gone in 11 minutes. But Starbucks? Starbucks wants you to stay. The longer you stay, the more human the brand becomes to you. The more human it becomes, the more you trust it. And trust, it turns out, is worth more than any coffee bean ever could be. That single decision, to sell time and space instead of just a drink, is the seed of everything that came after. But a feeling doesn't happen by accident. It's engineered. And the engineering is where things get interesting. Walk into any Starbucks on Earth and your brain starts making decisions before you've even opened your mouth to order. The lighting is warm, never harsh, engineered to make you feel relaxed rather than rushed. The music is licensed and curated specifically to be unobtrusive enough to work in the background of your thoughts, yet present enough to shape your mood. The furniture is arranged to create pockets of privacy inside a public space. Soft chairs near outlets, small tables for solo laptop workers, communal tables for people who want company without conversation. Even the color green isn't random. In color psychology, green is associated with calm, nature, and growth, the opposite of the red and yellow urgency of fast food. And the cup? The cup is a walking billboard, designed to be seen by everyone around you, turning every customer into a piece of free advertising the moment they step outside. None of this is coincidence. It's neuroscience applied at scale. Every sense engineered to make a $5 purchase feel like a small act of self-care. Which raises an uncomfortable question. If coffee itself only costs cents to produce, why does this feel worth $7? Here's the part that should make you a little uncomfortable. You are not paying for coffee. You are paying for identity. A custom order, oat milk, extra shot, half calf, light ice, isn't really about taste preference. It's a small act of self-expression performed in public, in front of a barista who writes your name on the side and hands it back like a tiny, personalized trophy. Psychologists call this the identity signal. The things we buy and display because they tell a story about who we are or who we want to be seen as. There's also habit, the almost involuntary pull of routine, where the brain starts craving the ritual as much as the caffeine. There's status, the subtle social cue of holding a recognizable cup that says, "I have 5 minutes and $5 to spare on myself today." And there's premium perception, the psychological trick where a higher price doesn't repel customers, it reassures them. If it costs more, surely it must be better. Put it all together, and the $7 was never about coffee. It was a small transaction for comfort, identity, and belonging. Priced like a beverage, but purchased like a feeling. And that feeling, multiplied by tens of millions of transactions a week, becomes something much bigger than a coffee shop. Here's where the story stops being about psychology and starts being about pure financial engineering. Starbucks doesn't just sell drinks, it sells food, seasonal merchandise, bottled beverages in grocery stores, branded mugs, and an entire retail ecosystem most customers never think twice about. But the real financial genius lives somewhere quieter, the rewards app. When a customer loads money onto a Starbucks gift card or app balance, they are effectively giving Starbucks an interest-free loan. At any given time, the company is holding well over $1 billion in prepaid customer funds, money sitting in accounts, waiting to be spent. Some of it never gets spent at all. Unused balances, expired cards, forgotten app credits, all of it becomes what's known in accounting as breakage, pure profit from money that was given freely and never redeemed. Then there's the rewards program itself, which does something subtle but powerful. It turns a single purchase into a pattern. Every star earned nudges the brain toward one more visit, one more purchase, one more small reason to come back before the point expires. This is how a coffee company becomes a financial institution disguised as a cafe, collecting deposits, tracking behavior, and building a customer relationship far more valuable than any single cup of coffee could ever be. Now let's go deeper into the psychological architecture most customers never notice. Look at the menu itself. Dozens of drink combinations, endless customization. This isn't generosity, it's choice architecture. And it works because of a principle called decision fatigue. Too many choices exhausts the brain, and an exhausted brain defaults to the familiar, the habitual, the usual. Then there's anchoring. A $7 specialty drink sitting next to a $3 plain coffee doesn't just offer options. It makes the $3 option feel like the smart choice, even though both are wildly profitable. Seasonal drinks introduce scarcity and FOMO. A pumpkin spice latte that's only here for a limited time isn't a marketing accident. It's a countdown clock built to convert casual interest into urgency. The app adds personalization, recommending your usual order, remembering your name, learning your patterns, which triggers a sense of being known, a subtle emotional hook that keeps people loyal to a brand the same way they're loyal to a person. And underneath all of it is the oldest trick in behavioral science, the habit loop. Cue, the walk past the store. Routine, the order. Reward, the small dopamine hit of caffeine, comfort and ritual, all delivered in the same predictable sequence every single day. None of these tricks work alone, but stacked together, they turn a coffee purchase into something closer to a psychological appointment you keep with yourself. Have you ever noticed two Starbucks locations within walking distance of each other, sometimes on the same block? That's not oversaturation, it's strategy. Every new store isn't just a new sales point, it's a new advertisement, a new touch point, a new piece of real estate reinforcing the same message. We are everywhere you are. Location scouts study foot traffic patterns, commuter flows, and urban psychology the way generals study terrain. Corners near transit stations. Spots visible from both directions of traffic. Locations chosen not because they need customers, but because they need visibility. The result is a network effect. The more stores that exist, the more inevitable the brand starts to feel, until getting coffee and going to Starbucks become, for millions of people, the exact same sentence. So here it is, the thing Starbucks actually sells. Not coffee. Comfort, routine, belonging, identity, status, consistency in a world that rarely offers any. A 5-minute, $7 escape from everyday life. Coffee was never the product. Coffee was the delivery mechanism. So the next time someone walks into Starbucks, don't ask what they're drinking. Ask what they're really buying. If this documentary changed the way you see business, subscribe. Because the world's biggest companies rarely sell what you think they sell. They sell human behavior. This video is created for educational, informational, and commentary purposes. The analysis is based on publicly available information, business strategies, marketing concepts, consumer psychology, and industry observations. Some scenes include simplified explanations and cinematic storytelling to make complex ideas engaging. This video is not sponsored by, affiliated with, or endorsed by Starbucks Corporation. All trademarks, logos, and brand names belong to their respective owners. Viewers are encouraged to conduct their own research before making business or financial decisions.